things I was gonna point out is the challenge is to stop and imagine how would you do it without computers and without digital stuff. I watched some of those and I just couldn't imagine how they were done. I mean, I do know one of them had liquids going between immiscible liquids going through themselves, and mirrors and.
Well, what I always like to, one of the ways I like to describe Wilfred's work is mirrors, no smoke.
And so I just challenge you all to think about that and imagine that you didn't have all the cheating stuff that you do. I still think there's a lot that can be done. I should say also that I had a chance to see at a very high level the very best digital and the very best analog film. And you can really tell the difference. And there's many times when the film gives you a better character for what you want than digital.
Okay, so AJ, to go back historically a little bit, Lumia, for those of you who don't know, was Thomas Wilfred's term for art created by light. This was, he first developed the Clavilux and Lumia in the 1910s and first exhibited them in 1921. And he wrote that his performances were capable of showing continual metamorphoses of color. So I'm curious if you could explain a little bit how you came to understand what that term means and what he meant by it and how it continues or not today.
Well, I can talk for about 6 hours.
A few minutes.
One of the most interesting things is Wilfred felt that he wasn't the inventor of light art. He was the discoverer of a new art form, and he thought of himself as an inventor of the device, the Clavilux, which allowed you to compose and perform on it. And Wilfred had said several times in his correspondence with friends, sometimes he used Beethoven, sometimes he used Mozart, but he said, I am not the greatest, to the effect of, I am not the greatest Lumia artist, or the Beethoven or the Mozart of it. They might not have even been born yet. So he very much wanted the art form to encompass an entire movement of art. He referred to Lumia as the eighth art, a silent art. And really his life's thesis, in my opinion, was now that we have the electric motor and the electric light bulb, we can control light with such dexterity and subtlety that that we can compose with it, and it can stand alone as an art form. And I think he proved it very well. Ironically, though, he was never really the piper for this art form that he wanted to be. And I could talk for hours about that, why I think that happened or didn't happen. But his term for Lumia was specifically meant to encompass all light arts. That was his vision. But where we are now is Lumia is a very well established and beloved segment of the light art world. And so Lumia refers to Wilfred's vocabulary.
I would suggest that if somebody wanted to improve on it, I think there are directions to go. I mean, I'm in love with laser vocabulary, but laser vocabulary is a very sharp, scintillating kind of thing. And there are now LEDs, for example, of all sorts of color that can be controlled, and you could do things in a more subtle way, the way he did. And I think Lumia has a very large possibility. I was turned on, when I got turned on to these moving images, I was turned on to the idea of a light organ, where you have an organ that is both playing music and also playing your instrument, and you could put them together. And of course now with controllers of all sorts, that's a straightforward thing to do. And I do think there's a lot of opportunity if people want to be creative. I don't know of anybody that's really doing very high quality work in that area.
They're trying. I'm seeing people try. Just because everything's accessible now doesn't mean that people are making great art automatically, just like anything else. But I'm seeing improvement. I'm seeing people begin to really understand that the light is part of your palette, and you build from that. The light itself, the laser light itself, is not the art, it's what you do next, and how you use it with other things. I can give a little bit of personal history, because I was deeply involved in doing psychedelic light shows. I had first seen a laser as a senior at USC. It was just in the scientific